Perfect. Okay, here we go. Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another session of the season of AI. The season of AI stature is only shooting through the roof with leaders like Divakar, who typically come and share their experiences. Let us all, join our hands and welcome Divakar. Divakar is from Infosys, based out of Bangalore, the tech city of the country, and has been a tech IT professional for a decade. If I were to look at his LinkedIn in that sense, thank you, Divakar, for doing this very late in the day. I'm sure you would have spent a lot of time in office. Thank you for doing this. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Rohit. Thanks for the introduction. So, hi guys. Hope everyone is doing good. So, let's just dive into the topic directly. So, today we are just going to understand how AI plays a vital role in our society. Okay. So, to be a part of it, so let's dive deep into it with the perspective of Azure. Okay. So, let's first understand what's AI and how it is transforming our industries. Okay. So nowadays, ever since the boom of the generative AI, the industry has the industry has seen a major upgrade in their systems. So starting with your chatbots, to your chat GPTs, to your AI generated images, videos, and everything. So this generative AI has literally toppled the entire industry, and the entire industry is moving towards a different path now. So we are going to see how the AI is playing a vital role in our day-to-day lives actually. Okay. So before that, like let's try to understand how it is going to dominate our industry. Okay. So in an attack surface, okay, compared to our major corporations, smaller industries are the ones which usually gets targeted by a lot of cyber criminals. Okay. And the problem here is like their services, they do not improve their backend services and stuffs. So what Microsoft is trying to do is it's trying to bring in AI supported frameworks, trying to help out users with their organizations. Okay. So before that, we need to understand how AI is playing a vital role in this cybersecurity part. Okay. So here, like you can see that the problem here is like an attacker has to be accurate once in a while, but the defenders, they have to validate each and every scenario. They have to go through all the data, all the metrics, in order to understand if it's true data or not. Okay. So how we are planning to do it is like we are trying to understand how to use AI in the field of cybersecurity. Okay. To improve the usage of it. Okay. So here we are using currently as assisted intelligence, which is the common intelligence like your Siri and Google assistants and other things. And the other one is augmented intelligence, which the larger organizations are using to predict the outcome of a data, their business models, and a lot of things. And the autonomous intelligence. Autonomous intelligence is like I believe everyone would have heard about it. Like it's kind of like a self-driving cars. So they decide and act rapidly depending upon the scenarios and the environments. So that is something like that. Okay. Apart from that, we as a day-to-day consumer, we face a lot of AI security things in our system. So I believe people would be using a lot of iOS devices right now, right? So your phone, it uses a small AI for validating your facial recognition, fingerprints, and security and surveillances are like used in every way, even in malls, any public gathering places. So they run a major algorithm to track, analyze the people's, and we also implement something called as gait analysis. So gait analysis, something like even if you cover your faces, okay, the trending AI algorithms, they can understand who is this person. This helps us to identify and even characterize the people. So that is something That's a very good technology that's been adopted worldwide. And the other thing is like scanning emails, antiviruses. These things are like the pretty basic things that we have been doing for quite a while. Okay, and to see how hackers are nowadays using artificial intelligence is something like this. Okay, so earlier, like we were able to easily identify spam emails, right? But nowadays, what's happening is people are sending us AI generated phishing emails. They are structured in a proper way that even the metadata, they are very hard to classify them. It's very high in quality, and it's very difficult to classify them as a spam. Okay, and then AI voice impersonation, that is another major problem here. So the thing is like it's like a robocaller. It'll call you, it'll ask you all the basic details. Okay, so and based on that the hackers perform spear phishings and things. So that's another major problem. And deepfakes, I believe everyone would have known about it. So it's been much easier nowadays to create a deepfake. All you need is a proper GPU and your systems configured to run your algorithm, and yeah, you can easily do a deep fake now. And even the most sophisticated attacks are from the AI captcha bypass. So ever since the boom of generative AIs, this has been much easier, and that's another big problem. And a lot of bots and other things. And DDoS is another biggest problem of the current AI solutions. So a lot of companies are working towards fixing them. And apart from that, we also have a lot of defensive AIs. So defensive AIs are something which can understand the pattern of a data or a traffic that is coming towards a organization at various aspects. Okay, so let's assume that your data or your website has getting a lot of traffic. Okay, but it doesn't make any sense. Like you might be deploying a website on India, but you're getting a huge traffic of from the United States, which doesn't make any sense. But AI today, they can understand, they can analyze these patterns, and even if you are trying to do a denial of service attacks, they can understand it and they can prevent it. So that's something we use it a lot. And there are self-learning honeypots nowadays. So honeypots are nothing but they are like a prey system. Like once the attacker tries to intrude in your system, they might be going into a replica, like it's like a dummy data or something. So they just go inside the honeypots. They won't be able to find any valuable data, but it's like a way of protecting your system. Like it isolates the attacker from your actual target system. So we are being able to make honeypots that are pretty good at self-learning how the attacker works. And then vulnerability management, it's again every top level organization is looking into this one at a major thing. So even if there is an SSH vulnerability or any sort of package vulnerabilities, we use AI as a threat detection model to go through all the code. It lists down a lot of vulnerabilities easily, and based on that, actions can be taken from the user end. So these functionalities nowadays, it's been introduced into GitHub. So even when you are trying to push a key, like any sort of keys or secrets into your GitHub, it gets detected, and you are notified to take proper actions towards it. Okay, and then like apart from that, we also use them for predictive analysis. So we also monitor camera footages in order to understand if there is any threat detection. So one of the best examples is Tesla cars. So once you're driving it, like in case, let's assume that you are going to be hit by another car that's running towards you from your different directions. Okay, in that case, like the car can act on its own, and it can do evasive maneuvers just to avoid being hit. So that's something, it's like a predictive analysis, and it's a self-learning thing, so it can automatically respond to threats actually. So that's something, one of the greatest thing with the defensive AIs. And coming back to offensive AI, So this is where the platform has changed a lot actually. So what happens is like malware creations earlier, like it used to be a tedious task, because like you have to design it for a specific system or a specific target vector. So it needs, I mean, you need to work on a lot of things for exploiting a particular version of a software. Okay, but ever since the boom of AI, it's been much easier. So like we have various platforms like worm gpts, so those are like offensive ai. That's like a clone of ChatGPT, but it helps you to write down malwares. Okay, so and you can also develop a rootkits easily. And botnets is another threat. And spear phishing, as I said earlier, like it helps us to target and gather information easily. And adversarial attacks is the major one, which we'll see on the next things. So these are the few of the major problems that we are facing nowadays. And you can see here, like we have something called as blue AI and a red AI. So we are classifying the AI as two categories nowadays. So blue AI is kind of like the hero, and red AI is kind of the villain. So blue AI helps you to prevent attacks. It helps us to understand the threat vector, understands us to using the metrics. It helps us to like understand user behavior, classify data. It also helps us to like prevent any sort of intrusions. Even in case of any intrusions, it takes necessary steps automatically and move them to a honeypot or a uh, depending upon the design system that's been designed. So it helps us to save our data. So that's something good AI is supposed to do here. So most of the organizations, they have like these various levels of securities that starts from firewall, then threat vector detections, intrusion models, and then once you detect it, then the prevention comes in. So for detection, so let's assume that your organization, someone is trying to get into your service. Okay, let's assume that. So in that case, like several organizations, they analyze your traffic pattern, and depending upon the pattern of it and the traffic, they generate signatures on that and they prevent it. So that's something, a threat detection happens over there in real time. And Azure plays a very vital role in helping the organizations, which we'll look into the later slides. And then coming back to red AI, so this is something that's been a very famous thing. So here, like you can see, there is something called as advanced spear phishing. So what happens is like this particular model, it has the capacity to go through all your emails, all your documents, whatever the format it may be. You can go through your social media and then collect all the details, and it can generate a threat vector or generate a metrics or a report on a particular person. And then using that, the hacker or the attacker can uh, um, train your model and then like send you spam emails or something like that. So that's again a major thing. And then the worst of all is spoiling the it's like poisoning your models. So I believe everyone would have somewhere or the other heard about machine learning, right? So in machine learning, the key role is the data. Data plays as the key role in your machine learning model. So what happens is like the attacker poisons your data. Okay, what does poisoning mean? Is something like they just try to add some junk data, or so you're supposed to let's say like you're building a model that is supposed to classify different fruits. Okay, so what the attacker would do is, so he will send you he will insert some chunk data, like I'll say apples are not apples and they are oranges, and your model will start predicting in a wrong way, and you will get a lot of false positives. So that is another a big problem, and this issue happens a lot, and we have several ways to prevent it, which we will see in the upcoming slides. So this is another major problem which was discovered. Okay, it's called as deep locker. So deep locker was a malware that was designed. So what happened is like it took over a lot of computers back in 2017. Around 150 countries were infected because of this. So once it gets into your system, it just spreads across your network, okay, via your local network. And then once it gets down installed in your machine, it's like your WannaCry. Okay, so it just encrypts all your data and it will throw you some random message saying that you have to pay so and so amount, and it has to be sent to this Bitcoin address or some bit address or a wallet. Okay, so that's a big problem which we faced in the year 2017. So the problem here is like most of the antiviruses was not able to detect it on time. The reason is it was using most advanced techniques that prevented the antivirus engines to detect its signature back then. Okay, nowadays like we have improved it, but this was one of the best attacks that used AI to hide itself from the real-time threat detection models actually. And coming back to the adversarial attacks, so this has been happening recently. It's like you just poison your data, okay, and once the model gets built, you'll just get random noises in your data, okay, and it's been effective so far. So if you see here, the source domain and the target domain, so we are just modifying the images with a random noise in it. Okay, once these noises are mixed into it, the model loses its capacity to understand what's happening, and it will start predicting it's wrong actually. So this is another major thing. And the I mean, the only way to secure is like you have to build your models, and you have to review, and you have to classify all your data manually, and just understand if there is any wrong data into it, and we just need to eliminate it. That's the only sole way. So poisoning is a major problem here, and evasion attacks is another thing. It doesn't happen much, but still, like just like the deep locker. So this is an evasion attack. So it will act as a proper like proper signed software, but on the back end it might be carrying a malware or a rootkit, and it poses as a different software to the antivirus engines, and thus fooling them actually. So that's another biggest problem here. And then this is the latest survey. Okay, so it's expected that by 2026, 85% of the services that we use in a day-to-day basis will be having a AI. Okay, so starting with your mobiles, starting with your PCs. So ever since yeah, the launch of generative AI, all the companies are rushing towards integrating them into their platforms. So as even recently, Apple, they started integrating um, I mean, ChatGPT into their system, and Microsoft Windows, they have a integrated ChatGPT into their system. Like it can read the screen, understand the patterns, and based on that, it can suggest you things. So all these companies are like trying to move towards it, and understanding the threat into it, and minimizing the risk, and then following good practices makes the AI as a better thing. So end of the day, it's like these AI tools are supposed to aid the human in a way that it helps us to do our jobs in a much better way. So Microsoft has few policies and principles when incorporating an AI into their system. So it's like fairness. Fairness is something like the AI has the ability to do the jobs that are requested by everyone. It should not be biased. So that's something like that. And then reliability and safety. So this is something which plays a very crucial role. So your AIs should be reliable, and it should deliver only the data that's been necessary. And we implement a lot of content prevention systems, like it tries to understand the data requested by the user. So let's assume that we have chat gpt, right? So I could ask it directly how to build a nuclear bomb, right? And it can give me the steps. But right now it's been policy with a lot of things, so it will not give you all the data. But a user can prompt it as a different way, like explain me how to do a fissile u-232. Okay. And it can give you the steps how to enrich it, and that's a bomb technically. So your AI has to understand, it has to understand it contextually, and it has to respond back with contents that gives you safe things. And apart from that, privacy and security, that's another major thing. Many companies are moving towards it. So once you start your AI, okay, it processes a lot of data. It takes in a lot of user data, and all these data, all the companies, they want them to be processed on device. Okay. And with recent boom of these processing, all these most of the computation is happening locally, and for heavier computation we rely on cloud systems. But implementing these AI means we need to work on our privacy and securing the data of every individual users. So that's another thing. And then accountability. So we need to know how the AI works, and it doesn't turn rogue like in movies. Okay. So we need to understand all those things. So AI has I mean, Microsoft has set a lot of policies and principles while designing an AI. Okay. And these are the security risks if things go out. So data exfiltration, model evasion, so these are the things that AI can cause issues. And Microsoft is taking strict actions against building stuffs against it. So one of the other thing is with the rise of generative AI, we have brought a scale of I mean, our attack vector has increased in a lot of ways. So we have a lot of places in our systems where the attacker can easily destroy our system. So starting with our input data sets, the application agents, the websites, and everything. So all these places, we have to take stringent system models to prevent the attacker from attacking us. And then this is a threat map. So here, if you observe closely the AI usage security, here you can do a jailbreak. Okay. Jailbreak in the sense, you can uh, try to access the LLMs, okay, in a different way. And that's something like bypassing your content filtration systems. So it can lead to privacy issues and a lot of things. So that's another thing. And then sensitive information disclosure, that's what we were discussing of. And indirect prompt injection attacks. So what I was saying about the nuclear bomb and things. So indirect prompts, it has to understand the context and it has to respond accordingly. And we have to build a lot of content context understanding models in order to prevent them. So that's another thing. Data leak. So your data, so the questions that you asked, it should not be, so the AI should not share those data to the other user. So it should be per user usage, and it should not be shared. So that's another thing. And then insecure plugin design. So all these are the third parties who are trying to access chat gpts and other things. Those data should not be leaked out. And model theft is again another biggest problem. So ever since the launch of ChatGPT, what happened is there was a big team that was trying to recreate the ChatGPT as a worm GPT. So worm GPT is supposed to create malwares and then spywares. So that was another thing. As of now, The model was not developed properly, but again, model theft was another biggest problem in this part actually. And nowadays, like almost 35 percentage of the companies are using AI tools in their cybersecurity problems. So the problem here is like we get like it's been surveyed like most of the organizations, they use at least 80 tools, 80 tools, in order to assess the threat, in order to understand the threats in their systems and then respond accordingly. And the rise of generative AI has scaled up the things, and a lot of companies have started um, incorporating these tools actually. And coming back to OpenAI security, so here Microsoft plays a major role. Like they give us a enterprise grade system with a lot of securities and stuffs, and it also deploys its own active threat detection systems. So they start from scratch actually. They start from building your models, and it works on integrating them into the Microsoft platform. So it detects from the scratch. It employs a lot of threat detection models, and it performs analysis, and it gives you a metrics on real time, so the user can do the rest of the things. And how Microsoft ensures ethical AI practices. So this has been a very big question here. So here, like Microsoft, it starts with the model, and then safety systems. It's like the content filtration systems, which we were saying, and it also builds abuse detections. So you cannot prompt your model to ask for indirect prompts. Okay, and then UI UX is another thing where you need to deploy proper protection systems, so people do not abuse your models. And then uh, you have to design, so these are the various layers actually that Microsoft ensures that your model doesn't isn't being abused actually. And this is another overview of how the data flows once you start prompting it from your application, and what happens on the background. So once you make a prompt, it reaches to the API gateway, and then it goes to the content filtration system, where it tries to understand the model's requirement, and then it also checks for the abusing monitoring, where you're not abusing it, and then it reaches to the model, and then the response is carried back. So this is the overview of what happens at the back end. And here you can see how Microsoft deploys various models for understanding the threats. So this is a setup that's been present on Azure AI Studio. So if you see here, once your AI is being built, okay, once they are in the process of generating it, the Azure AI Studio as a system that can scan all your models layer by layer. Okay, irrespective of how many layers. Okay, your Azure system, it will take time. It will scan through them. It will find vulnerabilities, and it will report them, onto your dashboard as a metric. And based on that, the user can take a proper response. And this as helping a lot of developers in building their models, making them and their platform very much secure. So this is a highly used thing, and it also tries to prevent people from tampering the models, existing models. So this is how the OpenAI was initially started, and then once Azure incorporated it, they started integrating a lot of things. So virtual networks and private endpoints are something like which organizations need. And once Azure incorporated it, using Azure, we hosted them onto a different platform. So it's been controlled and regulated. Okay, and then data security, it plays a major role, where your data, starting from your endpoint, it gets encrypted. Once it reaches your model, it gets decrypted, and once the entire transport layer, it is encrypted on the transit actually. So the keys are managed by the customers. So you can change them, you can rotate them. That's up to you. But the entire data security happens on the real time. Okay. And Microsoft also ensures to follow the ethical AI standards, like responsible AI standards, content moderation, and all those things. They also have a compliance certificate that gives us the trust of using these AI models in your systems. Apart from that, Microsoft uses Purview and Defender. So these AI models are integrated into their backend systems, thus helping us to do a lot of things. So even your Office 365, if you have an Office 365 subscription, like these AI are integrated into your products, starting from your Word and PowerPoint and Excel and all these things. So even on your Word and Microsoft, like they have integrated all these services, thus helping you to deliver your content much better actually. And it also helps you with the threat detection easier. So earlier, like we used to have like macros. So once you open a Word document or an Excel, they run at the background. It's like a small VB script, and then they try to like install or do something on your system and try to intrude things onto your devices. So nowadays, like with AI defenders, it has been very hard for these softwares to even run on the machine, because they, once you download them, like these security tools, they automatically scan for the vulnerabilities, and if they find something, they just push them into they just generate this signature, and they just push them into this um, sandbox, and they just removes them from the system if they are found uh, issues actually. And this is again about the Copilot security that we were talking about, how to prevent and all those things. And then again, this is the Azure Sentinel setup. So Azure Sentinel is a cloud native setup. So it is again supported by AI at the backend. The specialty of Azure Sentinel is it can monitor your data patterns and your applications on the real time. It can investigate, and it can generate reports on the runtime, and inform the users about any sort of threat detected on the backend. And it's a very intelligent system actually. It responds to threat, and it takes steps automatically. So this is an enterprise grade system, and it's been a cloud native platform, and it's been doing very good actually. Earlier, like we need to deploy antivirus on your hardware, we need to monitor your softwares and all those things, but now Sentinel runs and monitors all those things in real time, and it takes care on its own. So that's another breakthrough in this part. So this is an overview of how Sentinel is monitoring your applications, starting from your data source, threat detection, investigation part, and then your integration, like your third-party plugins and tools. So all these things are integrated tightly, actually. So that is another big breakthrough. And you can see how you can also integrate Sentinel with other applications using your REST APIs. So it can also interact with your Linux agents, Azure services, and your apps serverless. Even you can integrate your own applications with custom plugins. So that's another breakthrough with this. So that's it for today. um, I guess everyone would have got a very good insights out of it, and thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, Divakar, and we look forward to having you more often with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.